Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from Sort of Interesting, and today you are joining me for an absolutely beautiful Welsh walk on an incredible sunny day. I'll describe the route properly in just a second, but for rough guidance on Google Maps, this is taking place in the land between Wrexham and Chester. And we're going to start by passing Trevelyan Hall. You'll see the spelling on the screen in a second when we look at one of the little road signs. For a side note, the little metal handle that was sticking up off the gate that's just gone out of shot is so that horse riders can reach down and open the gate without having to dismount. Here's a closer look at this beautiful old building. I mean, once again, there's just so many places around here. So there's Trevelyan Manor, not Trevelyan Hall as I incorrectly called it, my apologies. So our first point of interest. We've made our way from Marford through the countryside to the nearby little Welsh village of Rosset, and here is the incredible 1661 mill building. And what a restoration, what an incredible looking building this is. And I mean 1661. You'll notice in a picture in just a second that the small middle gable, when viewed from the front, is very wonky to say the least. And that just again adds to the incredible charm of the place. But it's scenes like this that really do give you that feeling, especially after passing an old manor hall as well, that you've stepped a few hundred years into the past. And, well, under a sun and a blue sky like that, what an incredible place to be. This is the church as well. A very strange squat type church somehow. Seems a bit too wide. Now, I do want to give the Golden Lion a quick shout out here, as I actually based the route that I'm walking today on a route that I found on their website, bizarrely, while I was Googling walks around Marford. So you can see just a few stats here, and this is the route that I actually walked according to my activity tracking app. So I will give you a few pointers and a few locations to look out for on Google Maps, and as I say, I'll leave a link to the Golden Lions route in the description to this video too. But firstly, let's just take a moment to just enjoy the fact that now we've got out of the village of Rosset, we are basically just in the countryside for the rest of this walk. And that is what I've always said about, I mean, I grew up in and still live now in a place called Oswestry nearby that's a similar sort of rural place like this. But it hasn't quite got these incredible rivers running in the very near vicinity that places like Rosset and Marford have. And it's just absolutely, it's just so beautiful out here. And you'll notice in some of the shots that I throw into this that it's just so flat as well, because you're edging away from Wales into Cheshire here. And as you can see, it's clear from the videos and the pictures that you'll see that there's an awful lot of very flat open land, and it makes it perfect for sort of slightly longer distance walking, I suppose, because you're not worried too much about meeting a massive hike uphill or anything like that. So as I say, this here is the River Allen, so that's spelled Alyn rather than Alan or Alen. So if you want to Google that and search for that, see its route. But this joins up with the River Dee not too far, which is also the river that goes through Llangollen, another classic Welsh village, and also passes under the Pontcysylltu Aqueduct. That was just a buzzard there flying relatively low, and just being out here, it's so peaceful and so quiet. And especially when you get to the parts where the water's just bubbling a little bit more through some shallows or through over a load of little pebbles, that sort of stuff, you literally have moments where you can absolutely hear nothing at all but the sounds of nature and birds and all the rest of it, the water running. I quite like this little part here with the strange metal base there. This is all for cows to be able to go and drink from the water, and I did feel quite guilty when I turned up, because I made them all move in just their sort of cow-like way of panicking when they see any sort of strange thing going on. So you're probably gathering from what you're seeing on the screen now that this is the sort of place that I used to describe the canals as being like, where for the vast majority of places you can just point a camera in any direction and you'll be filming something beautiful. So it's very hard to take a bad photo, but you're about to see my best attempts at some bad photos right now. So, as I was walking through this field, another set of cows got curious and came over and just look at the field, bright yellow with all of these buttercups growing in it. And the cows basically chased me over the stile, and I thought, yeah, it's got to be time for a selfie with a stream, a little river in the background, cows, just fantastic stuff. The most incredible part about this, again, is that this is actually somebody's garden. I walked around the very edge of their land, and you've got this little bridge to get across the river to the other side, which is lucky because I would have been stuck quite literally. It could well have been another Dan Brown wet foot situation, of which there have been many over the years. But yeah, I mean, just imagine having this in literally, this is the border of their garden. The river sweeping around a big meander, just going around that incredible corner with a little bridge and everything. Again, now here, these are some good shots to illustrate, firstly, the sheer amount of buttercups that are about at this time of year, but also how flat it is, that those hills are miles and miles in the distance, and even they're pretty low. Something that I was disappointed with in terms of my filming ability is that there were quite a few fish bobbing around in the stream here. I did have one bit of footage that was focused on, well, it was meant to be focused on the fish in the river, but unfortunately, because I zoomed the camera in so much, they weren't actually in shot. But you can see it's a nice clean stream here, and when it's relatively wide and shallow like this, it's easier, especially in this light, to see the fish's shadows almost than the fish themselves, if that makes any sense. But again, as I say, something I do want to just mention. I thought I would make this a slightly longer, well, a much longer video than I normally do for my walking videos, because I just could not believe how much incredible scenery there was. And by the time I'd got back, you might have seen the clip of my stats for the saying it's an 8.8 mile walk that I did and 2 hours and 10 minutes of walking. That walking time of 2 hours 10 minutes only refers to the actual time of motion, not the actual time that I spent out and was still and filming and just enjoying the scenery and having moments of peace. So it took me an extra 50 minutes to actually complete the walk because of the stopping for a rest and generally enjoying being in places like this. So yeah, I thought I would do a longer video because as I've said so many times, I've got thousands and thousands of photos on my laptop that are all of these incredible rural places all over Shropshire and Wales and all over Scotland, and these incredible places that I've never actually shared them just because I've always felt, oh, better get things quick and over and done with. And well, now I feel, yeah, let's just throw it all out here. And I know there's a lot of people been saying that some of my videos could do with being a bit longer. I should really mention as well at this point that this is now the River Dee that we are looking at here, not the River Allen that joined in just out of sight, unfortunately. Rather annoyingly, very annoyingly, I'd go as far as to say, behind a tree just on the left-hand side, the two rivers would actually meet, and unfortunately I couldn't actually get a good shot of it, especially devastating because this obviously is a river that there was no way I was going to try and cross, and I could not physically get to the other side anywhere to come back and show you where we just walked down following the River Allen. So now it's just a case of me getting increasingly hot and sweaty and feeling like I might start to be burning just slightly on my shoulders and stuff, and just trying to get back to me dad's house as quickly as I possibly could. So really, as I've said so many times, I've been lucky to grow up in a place as beautiful and rural as Oswestry, which is only about, I don't know, 20 to 25 miles away from this particular point here, if I had to put a rough figure out. But it's also incredibly lucky that my dad has moved to somewhere like Marford, that I'm able to go out there and have a base to go off exploring all of this beautiful area too. Anyway, until the next time, my friends, as we go up the hill where our opening shot for this video was taken from, 3 hours later and a lot hotter and sweatier, I'll say thank you so much for tuning in. Check out my other videos for loads more from the great outdoors like this. If you're very curious, then please check out my short books for the Kindle about my life when I used to live on a narrowboat and why I gave it up and all sorts of stuff from the great outdoors. And well, until the next time, have a fantastic day, keep it interesting, and of course, my friends, farewell.